Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today I'm gonna be talking about movies. Okay, no shit Sherlock, that's what I'm off to doing anyway. So I guess to be more specific here is that I figured I'll do like a little discussion kind of a thing, yeah, I guess. Whatever you wanna call this. Just to speak about like movies or maybe certain scenes from movies that were just done out of sheer spite. Just that's it, out of sheer spite. And that's what I'm looking for here. Just to talk about that for a good moment here. Just talk about certain movies or certain scenes from movies. Yes, I'm going to put that in two different categories, of course. That was just done just out of spite. Just out of spite. And but yeah, I mean, you could always argue that maybe that's just people being immature or whatever. Which in some cases, yes, okay, that does happen. But I just figured I'd do that for real quick here. And okay, it's not gonna be quick because this gonna be over 10 minutes. So whoever's watching this, thank you ahead of time. I do appreciate it. So there's not gonna be no real order really. It's just gonna be set at random, really. It can be from any movie, from any director, from any franchise, from animated, otherwise, live action. That's like the only rule really I can think of. The movie itself doesn't necessarily have to be good either. It'll be okay. It'll be shitty. Oh, it'll be really good. I mean, I want it to be good, obviously, but just kind of brighten. I guess widen the horizon. I guess that's the proper word. Widen the horizon, so to speak. I guess have some more. Um. Yeah. Just have the more options. More options. I guess that's a better way of saying it for this kind of a thing. So I guess let's just hop right into it, shall we? So here we go. Yeah. The Halloween remake, directed by Rob Zombie, has to be one of the worst films I've ever seen. And it still is to this very day, ever since I originally watched it. And yes, it was pretty decisive on the fan base. Some liked it, some didn't, so it's probably like half and half. However, I was not the only one to have that opinion, because the original director, John Carpenter, did not like the movie at all. He told Rob Zombie to create your own movie, your own product, your own thing. But no, he didn't do that whatsoever. It was pretty much just a gory and exaggerated sexual, for its own sake kind of movie, an exploitation movie. And though Rob Zombie admitted that he didn't feel comfortable working on other people's work, but in he's more exploitative that type of movie maker, making it violent just because, making it gory just because, making it sexual just because, swearing just because, basically just how a middle schooler would direct a movie, pretty much. But at one point, yeah, the conversation between the two directors got pretty heated up. At one point, the director, John Carpenter, the original director of these movies, called Drum Zombie an asshole. So, yes, of course, this led to another thing. Oh boy. Which led to Halloween 2, which honestly has to be, again, another shitty sequel to a shitty movie. But it manages to be worse, like, than the first remake. Oh boy. So, yeah, that was just done just because of those remarks. That's it. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you put a whole lot of time and resource to do that. I guess this means I guess it takes a man with a lot of anger, a lot of just pissed off behavior just to do that. Just do it, I guess you can say. Boy. I mean, if it was me, I would just brush it off. I'd just never contact the guy ever again. If I were Rob Zombie, that is. Oh, yes, if I was Rob Zombie, I would have just brushed this entire thing as a one time experience and never contact John Carpenter ever again. If you don't like the person, it happens. Not everyone's gonna like you. Dude, that's life for you. It happens. But that's just me, I guess. That's just me. That's just me. But okay, just thought I'll bring that up real quick. Start off with the horror movie. I like horror movies anyway. And but anyway, moving on from that. Gamera and Godzilla were pretty much rivals in the golden age of kaiju in the 1960s and 70s. And after a while, these films were pretty much dying out because of the popularity is declining since people want to focus on other stuff. The film Gamera the Super Monster was the last desperate stitch attempt to pretty much resurrect the Gamera series. It's a terrible movie, no, but it's definitely easily one of the worst films I've ever seen. It's pretty much consisted of just mostly stock footage. But okay, that's kind of besides the point, really. But but anyway, like I said, these two franchises, these two companies, basically were just going at it. They made pretty good money at least for a while at the box office. So both companies were rivaling against each other. But in the film I just mentioned, Gamera the Super Monster, in that film there was a scene where Gamera passes a movie theater and knocks over like some sort of poster thing or whatever. And on that poster thing was, of course, you guessed it, Godzilla himself. This was, of course, a direct stab towards the Toho company, uh, just, well known for the Godzilla films, of course. I mean, it didn't save the film. The film still flopped, but still, that was their little, trying to be sneaky about it, I guess. Trying to say something about their competition, I guess you can say. So, oh yeah, there's that. However, in the film Godzilla Tokyo SOS, of course, Toho, the company that is known for these films, like I just said, they didn't let it slide. No, no. It took them a while to do something about that, but they didn't let it slide, not whatsoever. Yes, there was one scene in the film. I mean, the movie itself wasn't very good, really, if I'm be honest here, but there was one scene where there was a giant turtle, and they got like its throat cut. So yeah, that was their way of taking a little jab right back towards them as well. The company was brought back in the early 90s and made Gamma Guardian of the Universe, which basically just started over. And while I can say the movie was actually pretty good, but yeah, the company that made these films, the Gamma films, was still being pity. And the thing is that this was made around the same time when Toho was basically retiring the Godzilla series, at least for a while anyway, at least for a little while. So, which means, yes, this horror dispute was still going on during the 90s. Why they were, doing the Heisei series of films, which I actually do it like. Actually, the Godzilla Heisei series is actually my favorite era of Godzilla because the stories were done more correctly. In some ways, just everything about them was done more correctly and more constructed better, I guess. Okay, that anyway, never mind that. Besides that, the feud was still going on even during that period of time. And the company, when they made Gamma Guardian of the Universe, they had the nerve. Well, I did like the movie, but they had the nerve to state that that company, I mean the Gamma series, they claim that they were the people that started the kaiju genre. They claim that they were the people that started this whole new genre, like they were the forefathers of this genre. Which of course is complete bullshit because when you think about it, the first Gamma film that ever came out, Gamma the Giant Monster, came out in 1965, whereas the original Godzilla film Gojira came out in 1954. So yeah, big gap of time. When it comes to a capitalist system, which yes, Japan has a capitalist system. Well, okay, it does now compared to like prior World War II. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get that in a capitalist system, like in America as well, there's competition, which I'm all for. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to disapprove of competition. It's fine. I'm all for it as long as you keep it healthy. But this is just a whole new level here. What the hell? Just wow. Okay, okay. This is just weird. Come on, give me a break, will you? Anyway, moving on from this. Well, yeah, just move on from this. Oh boy, there's still a few other things I want to mention real quick, of course, before I end the video. So yeah. Of course, you start to get the idea. That kind of thing. We'll stop talking about, folks. The whole theme of this video. Yeah, there's just stuff like this. That's what I'm talking about. Stuff like this. Anyway, let's just trying to wrap things up, I guess, because like I just said, there's still a few things I want to mention. I guess you can say. For the next thing, okay. Before anyone says anything, it's technically not in the movie. It's not a scene from the movie. It's more of something that came from a press, not like a press conference or something. And the dude did admit that he was just caught up in the moment when it comes to the DC hype or whatever. Even be like super, extremely technical, I guess you can say. But I want to bring up this one moment anyway because you know at the end of the day this was just done out of sheer spite and whatever. But I'm referring to the movie I guess Suicide Squad, which honestly was not that good. Really, I thought it was terrible. And first, and I did see that movie in the movie theater, and it just no, it just felt like it felt empty. And there was an extended version out there, from what I hear, and I actually saw the extended cut. I mean, I didn't watch the movie, but I saw the the Blu-ray case for it and the DVD case for it. But I never watched it because I didn't care enough, really. I mean, for all I know, sure, it could be much better. For all I know, but I just don't care. Anyway, moreover, is that the director of this guy in a press conference, kind of a thing to promote the movie or whatever, he actually said to the audience, "Fuck Marvel." I mean, really, dude, just saying "fuck Marvel." I mean, he after he did apologize to Marvel, of course, but he said he was really sorry. He was just caught up all the hype and his DC pride. What pride? Come on, dude. Again, the movie's not very good anyway. It's awful. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I guess it's serviceable in some ways, I guess, but whatever. Yeah, but he just ended up shouting "fuck Marvel" at the Suicide Squad world premiere. And yes, this was caught because there was a fan that made this video that pretty much caught the moment, which showed him yelling that out, of course, and of course he got a round of cheers afterwards. I mean, dude, people calm down again. The movie wasn't all that good, but moreover, I mean, this was definitely just pity, really pity. I mean, so there's a lot of other stuff in this list too, to be honest here, but like what the hell. Anyway, director took things a step further. I mean, granted, he only makes bad movies, but one of which, of course, is this god awful film that shall not be named. But in his name, he had these two characters. They should look awfully familiar because they're supposed to be, wink wink, nudge nudge to these two film critics, whom by the way never liked any of his films. Can't you blame him really? He never once ever made a good movie. So of course, out of sheer spite, and he made these two characters. But he even managed to fuck that up because when you think about it, even the two critics even criticized that because one of these critics had suggested you could have at least had the monster eat them up or something. Yeah, think about that. Anyway, I generally thought Friday the 13th, the new Blood film, was actually pretty good. But it was a way to show New Line Cinema like what they were missing out by pretty much giving them the middle finger in some ways because at this point the Friday the 13th film series was owned by Paramount Pictures and Paramount Pictures had approached New Line about a crossover film with Freddy and whatnot, given how the new Nightmare series was should be done, I guess you can say, to bring new a more profit, I guess you can say, if there were counterparts and whatnot. New Line didn't really come up to what they deemed to be suitable with the agreement to Paramount. In response, Paramount has set up showing that there might be still plenty of live and most importantly box office interest in Jason Voorhees. Does the executive the individual who is supposed to be this producer named Frank pushed ahead with a new Friday the 13th picture that put Freddy against a character that had talented nieces in that film. That character, of course, being Tina. In other words, this character Tina, again, she has this telepathic powers, was simply made out of spite because they couldn't agree on certain things or whatever. So yeah, and but that's definitely something to think about, folks. Yes, sir. And the thing is that this Jason film became pretty popular. It was a fan favorite among a lot of people. So there's that, I guess you can say. And oh yeah, speaking of the Friday the 13th horror franchise, this director, yeah, he's been around for quite some time when it comes to the horror genre. And yeah, he did make this one, folks. And there's several different versions of this film because of the violence and whatnot. You got some help with this guy. Yeah, they teamed up to have the story be written and produced, of course. However, this film did get a lot of backlash, lots of controversy. Of course, it was so depressing and depraved, I guess. And yes, there was an actual rape scene. Yes, that's in there. You heard me right. That's in the film. So afterwards, this director pretty much just backed off. He didn't want nothing to do with the film. So unfortunately, the thing is that, yeah, it made this guy mad. He got pissed off about this kind of a thing. So yeah, so he felt like, okay, something must be done about this. Something must be done as a result. So in some ways, you can say, okay, it was out of spite, definitely. His next move was done out of spite, taking some inspiration from the film, the original Halloween from 1978. He decided to make his own slasher film. Of course, make it gory, make it depressing, make it grim, which led to the first Friday the 13th film. So, yeah, that's definitely something to think about. Alright, folks, that'll be it. I know there's plenty more I could have mentioned. I mean, there's a lot more. But I guess I'll just stick with these for now. As always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh, yeah. Later. Yes, sirree.